Jam Space.
Good morning, everybody. Today is Bandcamp Friday, and that was a little taste of my song Look Out Above that's going to be coming out next week. But if you go to zachcry.bandcamp.com right now, you can hear this song on a private stream, but only if you hit that follow button will you get access to that private stream. When you hit follow, that adds you to my mailing list, and I'll be able to get you to the stream, man. It's like its own little Facebook feed when you get in there. It's a very cool little community, man. I'm really trying to cultivate a nice little group in there. So if you're interested in something like that, we always post like exclusive links in there. We tend to let people in that group know about things before we let everybody else know, like on other social media platforms and whatnot. So if that's something you're interested in, go to zachcry.bandcamp.com and hit that follow button, and you'll be able to hear this whole song today. My guest today is the CEO of Metal Assault Records out of Los Angeles, California, Mr. Andrew Bansal, and we are going to talk about Bandcamp and how powerful it is for artists and labels. So without any further ado, let's get into it. This is Mr. Andrew Bansal. Andrew.
Zach, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you, man? It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for reaching out and setting this up. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great, man. This is one of the greatest phone calls I've had on the podcast so far.
Awesome, man. I guess I'm not too far away. I'm in California, so maybe that's what makes a difference. I don't know.
There you go. How have you been, man?
Good, man. Just obviously we're living in strange times, but I think I've been able to cope with it pretty okay so far, and things have just kind of gotten better and better as I've gone along. I mean, this is like a busy time for my record label, which is kind of like my main activity right now. I mean, kind of as compared to before, especially when the time that I booked your band in the past. Like, that was like my main thing, like being the promoter here in LA, booking shows. But then no shows were happening, so I had to kind of do something else, So now I'm doing this. The label was already like started like while I was still booking shows, but it wasn't like so much of like my main focus as it is now, So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been focusing on for the last year,
For everybody listening, can you say what your label is and some of the acts that you work with?
Yeah, the label is called Metal Assault Records, and it's pretty easy to find. Actually, I just launched a new website for the label specifically, so it's metalassaultrecords.com. And some of the I have quite a few bands on the roster right now. Some of the bands that I could name right off the top of my head: Old Blood, which is an amazing psychedelic doom band out here from LA. Then there's Solar Haze, which is like, I don't know, like they're a bit of everything, but like stoner rock, heavy metal, psychedelic. Like
yeah, I know those guys, man. They're awesome.
Yeah, so those are the two like that I've had from kind of like the beginning, and then there's some others that I've signed recently. There's a Canadian band called Dead Wolf. Then there's a Arizona band called Varkin, power metal from Phoenix, Arizona. Then there's a few other LA bands. There's this band called Dawn Fades, which is more like kind of post metal or like progressive metal or that type of thing. Then there's Sea Sleeper from Portland, Oregon, which is a death metal band.
So you don't seem to
Then
be too genre specific with Metal Assault.
no, so that's the thing. I mean, my kind of bottom line with the label in general has been like from the beginning to kind of keep expanding the range, so to speak, like sonically, and stylistically. There's few reasons for that. Well, I've kind of always been like that with anything that I've done under the Metal Assault banner, like whether it be reviewing or interviewing bands as I used to do back like in the early years, and then even with the shows that I promoted, and now with the label. I think that's just like kind of my general sort of approach with even with personally speaking, like the music that I listen to within the heavy metal spectrum, it's like very like all over the place in that sense. So yeah, and it's the same concept with the label. And the other thing with that, with the label, is that it helps if like each band is different from each other, because then it allows me to kind of have a big audience overall, because each band kind of brings a slightly different audience. Yeah, and then also they're not competing against each other like for the same audience. So that's also the other reason for that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And when I met you, it was I went to go see Mothership, and they had Zimani playing there, opening up for them, and
Yeah, that's right.
they're like power thrash. I don't know. They reminded me of like old Megadeth or something. Um,
Yeah, they definitely have that. That was definitely one of their bigger inspirations, or at least for like one of the members. So yeah, you're pretty dead on with that. Yeah,
I,
back then I was working with them for sure, like for a while. And
I
I think
became
there's
pretty good
talks
buzz
of
with them, man. We
yeah,
ended up doing a few shows together and stuff, man. I like them a lot.
yeah, great. No, that's a great young band. And yeah, I was gonna say that there's talks of maybe like us working together in the near future, especially because they're also trying to do something to make a bit of a comeback after this whole COVID era, which has had them like not as active. So we'll see how that goes.
Did you not put out their first album for Metal Assault?
No, I didn't put it out
Oh, okay.
because the label wasn't there at the time, but I was managing them, so
Oh,
I
okay. I
was I
got
was
you.
basically like behind it fully, but it was not like on my label, so to speak.
I got you. So,
Yeah.
so you started this all as like as a blog, right? Writing reviews and stuff.
Yeah, so Metal Assault started out as a metal blog in 2010. So basically, that was my aim. Like back then, I mean, I'm sure like people listening or at least some people listening might be aware that LA has always been like kind of a very busy concert like stop for bands or touring stop. So everybody comes through here when they're on tour. So I always had a lot of shows to attend, and I loved writing reviews of the shows that I went to. So I was contributing to other websites prior to starting Metal Assault, but then it came to a point where I was like, I wanted to do it my way, so I started my own thing. And yeah, that's how I kept building it up in the beginning, like just attending a lot of shows, reviewing bands, interviewing them, and just building the audience that way. Because like with every article, there was like new readers that started kind of coming on board. So yeah, I mean, I did that for quite a while, pretty prolifically. I mean, I used to go to like pretty much a show a night, like on an average, really. So yeah, that's how it started out, and then transitioned that into concert promotion and now the record label. So it's been a little over 11 years for the overall journey so far.
That's a great story. So when everything starts kicking back up, are you gonna go back to promoting shows again, or are you gonna keep your main focus on doing the label?
Yeah, I think one of the positives, I guess, that would come out of this whole kind of limbo period that I've had is that the label has kind of gotten a lot more established than it was before. just by itself. So I think that will definitely continue. I mean, I'll keep putting out releases. And actually, one of the things that was definitely very closely tied in with my label before was that I was doing release shows for each release. Like I did a big 420 show for Solar Haze in 2019, and that was pretty epic. Like I still remember that show as one of my favorites.
Yeah,
So I would,
who else was
yeah.
on that bill, man? Because I think I remember this.
Yeah, it was Solar Haze, Old Blood. Then it was a local band called Belgrave, a really good band, and
Yeah.
then a band called Ancient Fears, which is another really like pretty kind of mind blowing like synth doom type band from LA. Yeah, it was pretty memorable night. I mean, so I love doing those release shows, man. So I haven't been able to do that in the last year, even though I put out a lot more releases, but they've all just been online, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would definitely get back to that once like I'm able to. And yeah, I will come back and start doing shows as a promoter because that was still like my main kind of bread and butter, so to speak. You know, I mean, it's definitely a lot harder just to rely on just the record label alone. You know, so yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So are you handling vinyl production for these bands that you have signed, or are you all digital right now?
No, I mean, actually, yeah, the digital aspect is obviously there because it's kind of like a given in this sort of more modern world that you have to do that. But like my main sort of not, I mean, I wouldn't say my main focus because I focus on the digital also, but yeah, like the thing that I'm more like interested in is always the physical product with any release. So yeah, every release that I put out has definitely some sort of physical format attached to it. Yeah, I've done vinyl for a few of them, not all of them, because yeah, as you can imagine, it's definitely a big financial investment right off the bat to do vinyl.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm looking at
So
getting it
yeah,
done just for myself, and it just to get
yeah,
one vinyl done for one band, is a lot. I
yeah.
couldn't imagine doing a
Yeah. So
list of
yeah, I've
them.
definitely done a few, and I have a few coming up as well that are launching on the Bandcamp Friday, which I believe by the time this podcast comes out, it will be Bandcamp Friday. So
Yes, sir. So let's
yeah,
talk about that, man. How powerful of a tool is Bandcamp? I mean, I love it.
yeah. So Bandcamp has been around for many years, but it was it was always like something that stayed very underground, and it wasn't like a main thing for anybody, for any bands or labels. But they really changed the game during this COVID era because unlike a lot of the other bigger corporations who just like moved along as before, they didn't do anything. Like they just kept filling their pockets. But Bandcamp wanted to do something to support the artists and the indie labels. So yeah, they started doing this Bandcamp Friday every first Friday of the month. Where so okay, before I go and get into that, I'll just quickly just like explain to people that well, if you're selling on Bandcamp, you pay them like a small revenue share, and it's usually like 10 or 15% depending on how much you sell. The more you sell, like that percentage goes down closer to 10, you know. But on the Bandcamp Friday, they don't charge you anything. So for 24 hours, you keep your 100%. So it's definitely a very powerful and useful tool that I've been using pretty extensively, like probably more than a lot of a lot of other people, really, you know. I mean, I've really tried to stack that up with like new product launches because to me that first day of launch is very important. Like the more sales you can get on that first day, the better, you know, the product launch is. So
Right,
I
and
I
to
try to
have that.
line those up for the Bandcamp Friday so that like that we save that 10 or 15%, you know, and that makes a big difference,
Oh
especially
yeah.
like for the bands and for me as well, you know.
'Cause that's such a smart move. Because there's really nowhere to have a store without paying a fee anywhere online. So for Bandcamp to do that,
Yeah.
and for somebody like yourself to have a record label and, like you said, be able to line up releases on
Yeah.
Bandcamp Friday, I mean, that's just a humongous, I mean, that's just so powerful, man.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And even from their perspective, if you look at it from Bandcamp's perspective, yeah, okay, well, they're probably losing a lot of that money by waiving that fee for 24 hours. But the thing is, like, people like me are putting up new products on that day. So that product obviously stays up. It's not like it gets deleted after the Friday is done, you know? So they make their money, you know? I mean, I think it's a smart move on their part too. Like they've really, and plus obviously it's attracted a lot more people, a lot more bands and labels to put more product on there. So it's obviously benefiting the platform, you know?
I love Bandcamp. I
Yeah.
use it as my main. I mean, we have a website, but I always send people to the Bandcamp site. It's got everything that we need there. I wish
Yeah.
that they had like a drop ship sort of integration for T-shirts. You know, like
Yeah.
Printful and all these other places. There's a few other ones I can't think of right now, but they
Yeah, no, I know Printful. Yeah, I
yeah.
know what you're talking about. You're talking about more like kind of on demand type stuff.
Right, yeah, and they
Yeah.
they they integrate with a lot of websites, but they don't integrate with like Bandcamp,
Yeah.
which seems
Yeah, I
like.
mean, that's definitely like one thing that Bandcamp still, I mean, it's definitely not perfect,
Hmm.
like in those ways where it doesn't really integrate with anything on the outside. So it's just like a self-contained type thing. But that's actually like one of the reasons why also I just launched that new label website because it has its own web store, which does integrate with all those other things. Like it's gonna integrate with Facebook and Instagram and
Hmm.
like my shipping software and stuff like that. You know, so
Yeah, and
yeah.
that
But of
makes
course, the
everything.
Bandcamp is still a focus, especially for the Bandcamp Friday.
Hmm.
But like aside from that, especially when the product that I'm selling gets released, then definitely it will go up on my website, you know, like as opposed to just being on Bandcamp for sure, you know.
So, do you have a release lined up for Bandcamp Friday?
No, there's no release this time, but I have four upcoming releases that are launching for pre-order. So I'm launching pre-orders for four releases today, and basically I'll just run through them real quick. So I mentioned the Canadian band Dead Wolf. So I'm launching a cassette pre-order for their debut EP, which comes out May 7th. Then Varken, the Arizona band that I mentioned, they're putting out a cassette single, and that's launching for pre-order today, or has launched by the time you hear it. And that's also coming out on May 7th. Then I have this synth doom band called Circle of Size, which is launching vinyl pre-order. So I'm doing a limited edition purple vinyl for them, and their album comes out June 4th. And then the fourth one is this LA band called Sea of Snakes, which is actually kind of probably more up your alley than any of the other bands that I mentioned. It's like very Sabbath worshipy. Like they have like super awesome, like it's like riffs, you know, riffs for days. So
Nice, nice.
so their album comes out April 2nd, and I'm launching pre-orders for this. So that's on CD. So I'm launching that also today. So those are the four. So as you could tell, basically what I do is I line up pre-orders like sometime before the release, like depending on what format. Like
Hmm.
the vinyl takes the longest, so that's why it's like 3 months before the release when I launch it. And for cassettes, it's usually 2 months. And for CDs, I can kind of like be more flexible because it doesn't take as long to get those done, you know. So yeah, so that's how I pretty much do it. Yeah, so no full releases this month, but I have those pre-order launches, and then I have releases like for the next 4 months that are like lined up, you know. So yeah, a lot's happening.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like you've been busy. Um,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like the Bandcamp Friday thing starts. Well, that it's already started by the time people are hearing it, but
yeah,
at the time of talking to you, it's like 6 hours to go until it starts. So I'm ready to pull like an all-nighter. You know, usually I do
yeah.
because it's just exciting for me. You know, new products launching and seeing like if how many orders are coming in like right away and all that type of thing.
Absolutely, yeah, it is
Yeah,
exciting, man.
yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna be putting anything out this month. We launched the pre-orders for my EP on a Bandcamp Friday, and that was a lot of fun. So
yeah. I'm sure.
any
Yeah, that
kind of,
it's like
I mean, any
yeah,
band that has any new sort of merch, even a T-shirt design or anything,
yeah,
put it out on Bandcamp Friday and put a little more cash in your pocket.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Well, Andrew,
Yeah,
man, I thank you so much for coming on the show, man, and just talking a little bit about Bandcamp Friday. It was,
yeah. My pleasure. Anytime, man.
do you want to tell one more time what's your Bandcamp store page?
Yeah, that's very important. I should mention that. Metalassault.bandcamp.com. So pretty simple.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. And once everything gets cooking again, I hope to work with you in the future.
Oh, definitely, man. I will definitely do that. I can't wait.
All right, brother. Well, have a good night, man.
You
Good
too,
luck
man.
with all your pre-order releases.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
You have a good one out there.
All right.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye. I want to thank Andrew for coming on. I want to thank everybody for listening to the Jam Space podcast. And I urge you to go to bandcamp.com and check out some of your favorite artists, because a lot of these guys release really cool merch on Bandcamp Friday, to kind of boost up sales a little bit. And remember, 100% of your money is going straight to the artist. You're totally cutting out the middleman. So what better deal could you ask for? And while you're on Bandcamp, you might as well go to zachcrowd.bandcamp.com and get yourself a pre-order for my new EP, All the Same, for just $5. That EP comes out April 9th on Bandcamp, and then it's going to be streaming everywhere else the next week. So I want to thank everybody for listening, man, and being a part of this whole thing with me, and we will see you guys next week.